where we're kind of going in the future with it. With that being said, this is going to be a slightly abbreviated show. Not too much has happened and transpired in the league. We primarily try to cover the user games now with so many more users. We'll talk about the CPU games, especially if something happened. I got a couple of things I want to get off my chest. But Nick, we're going to start with you, man. You had the most user games.
Yeah. I probably will have the most user games. For the
especially down the stretch.
Yeah. As I mentioned in the last episode, I was facing the Bills that night, or that day. And I also had the Chiefs coming up. I had 2 CPU games in between that, but I had just the Bills and Chiefs. The Bills game, I won that one, but I think, like Lou said, that was expected because the Bills is not the best competitive team in our league.
Well, look,
but they do have their own challenges though, because it wasn't an easy win for me.
No, 100%. And I don't want to throw dirt on nobody's name, but at the end of the day, your record is your record.
Your record is your record. He was 3-6 when going into it, so. It is what it is. Diggs is a problem as far as that post.
Bruh.
That post. I had to bring a linebacker all the way in coverage for that motherfucker. Going into the game though, because I had a CPU game before that, my linebacker, I can't pronounce his name, number 58, for the Colts. He actually still is on the Colts in real life. I developed him to a star, and then he had a superstar opportunity in that game. You know me, when I user games with superstar opportunity, I'm like, man, why I gotta be this game? But man, I balled out with that guy. Like, he got 2 picks, a sack, and like 3 tackles. So like, he definitely got his star trait, which I was happy about. But that game was just more about me getting. That was a game that got me comfortable back playing Madden. I think I've talked about that before. Like, I've been like focusing on this side, that side, not really focusing on the game. And I was like, I looked at my overall. You can put out my overall team score plenty of times, like, bro, you actually can compete. So like, that was a game that like I threw like probably 3 interceptions as 3 touchdowns, but I was back comfortable playing defense and calling my offensive plays. So that gave me confidence in my CPU games, which led me to the Chiefs game. That Chiefs game is a game that was circled on my calendar.
First off,
appreciate that, you know what I'm saying?
You talking about?
I'm gonna say I'm happy. Can't you see it? Like, it's all recognized.
That was pretty impressive.
I appreciate that.
I like how you set the tone in that game with that interception. I kind of read it too. So, did you play a cover 3 on that?
I played.
Or is it cover 2?
I was it was actually.
Or man.
It was a cover 2.
It was a cover 2. Cover 2 man.
Yeah, I played either cover 2 or cover 3. When I faced him, that's the same strategy I had last time. I faced him in 20. I faced him twice in 20. He was actually the person I beat for the Super Bowl, the first title for the league. For y'all don't know, I was the one who carries the belt for the first title of the league. But based off how you played him going into that game, I was like, he's, you know me, I'm all about MVP. No big plays. So I was already ready, like, I don't give a fuck what he do on the ground game or underneath. He ain't going over top.
He got you.
So he did give me a couple times, but it was at the time the game was already done. It was already done. But like, to set the, like, what I was going into the game, you know me, I hate receiving the ball first, and that's what happened. But at the same time, I was like, all right, let me score. I gotta score. And I drove down the field, but like he stopped me. So I was like, I was thinking about, like, every time I'm in like a 4th and 1 or 4th and short yardage, I'm always like, what would Ken do? I always think, like, would he take the field goal or would he go for it? And it was early in the game, and I was like, let me kick the field goal, even though I was literally right there at the 3 to 1 yard line.
Yeah. I remember that. I was actually surprised you even kicked the field goal, because I was like, he going for it.
Nah, I was literally debating for it. I was like, you know what? It's early. I don't need to. Like, if I didn't get it, and I'm just like, and he's on the 1 yard line, it's like, I'd rather get the points.
Yeah,
I want to make it easy for him.
When I was watching, me personally, I would have went for it.
I know you would have.
Because and here's my rationale in those situations.
I don't blame you for it though.
Because even if I don't get it, bro, you gotta go 99 against my defense, and I feel confident. If you scored and you earned that. You drive 99 yards on me, you've earned that touchdown. So I'm willing to let that go.
To be honest, if it was any other team.
And I feel that too.
Because he can literally go 99.
He could.
Because the nigga on his team got 99 speed. You feel me? Like, he got 99 speed. So I was like, that's why I was like, you know what? Let me get the points.
And I respect that.
And that's what I did. So when he got on offense, my game plan was like, as soon as I was like, no big plays.
Yeah.
Like, he gonna have to do what he do. And I actually fucked up on that interception.
Really?
Yeah, because I was expecting Travis Kelce to do a post, like to come out and
To
post.
keep going.
I didn't know he was doing a curl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you see me, I'm running around him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, but I think what he didn't realize is how quick my linebackers is.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like it looked like I wasn't like I was,
Yeah, you look like you was out to play, but then you just cut it
I
off.
came right back because I was like, okay, he's doing a post. Let me get here real quick. And obviously it was just a pick six. And I was like, okay, 10 points up. Let's see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I.
But see, you know what? Now you see the value of that 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now 14-0 would have been just the same, but 10-0 is still a little bit more pressure on him.
It's still 2 possessions.
Right,
No matter what he do,
right.
he has to score 2 possessions.
It gives you that cushion.
Yeah.
It gives you that breathing room. And I think that, like, for me, sometimes I undervalue that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I need to value it more depending on my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's certain teams that points are at a premium.
Right.
And against the Chiefs, you got to put up 30 plus or you're not going to beat them. So points are at a premium against that opponent. So that's why you see, I didn't say nothing. I did not say nothing in the chat because I was like, I respect that.
And it was all about just me trying to be like, the things you've been doing haven't been working.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at Justin Fields, he got I'm on Jameis Winston's ass as far as 30 TDs and 30 picks. You feel me?
No, it's not as bad as Russell.
Oh, well, nonetheless, I'm just like, bro, I hate turning, you know what I'm saying? Ken,
Right.
I'm trying to work on my diet. I'm trying to take out sweets. I'm tired of turnovers. All right? I'm just tired of turnovers. So that's what I really wanted to do, was just focus on playing smarter and just not making the game harder for myself. That's why, like, even though my rushing stats weren't anything to be, go over the moon about, I still rushed about 25 times just to
keep it
not
balanced.
even that, just to, because what I realized my game plan is ticky tack plays. Like, I'll get 3 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards. That's a first down. You know what I'm saying? If I keep doing that, eventually I'm getting to the end zone. And that's what I was doing throughout the whole game, and that's normally how my play style is. Like, I don't need big plays. I can do a big play, but I'd rather do paper cuts.
But you had a couple. Big
I had a
plays.
couple just to keep them honest, though.
Justin Field played good. You had a perfect passer rating with 158.3, so shout out. Look, I'm going to give you...
Hey, I ain't got to talk. I'm about to just sit back and drink. Hey, go ahead.
You played a really good game, and here is where I think that you've improved, and the reason why I've called you out sometimes during the season, because when I played you in preseason, I think the best thing that caught me off guard was your play call. Like, your play call got way better, but then I think you got kind of in your own way. Oh, I don't want to throw no turnovers with Justin Fields. I want to do this. Yeah. You got hyper conservative, and it's like I get it to a degree, but dog, like you gotta let that shit go a little bit, like because you're boxing yourself in. You're not allowing your team to flourish. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And over the last 2 games that I've watched that you streamed, I'm like, you're starting to let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to let the fucking playbook open up, and now you're becoming a threat. Now I can't just say, you know what, I'm going to just hunker down on the run. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to play coverage to keep everything in front of me. No, like now your play call is at the forefront of your gameplay. And I think that if you keep that in the forefront of your mind and you execute on that, Nick, you are a legit title contender.
And this is why they call me No Disrespect or Mr. Disrespect, because I only got comfortable with that based on me looking at everybody playing. I'm like, y'all niggas really ain't that good. Like, for me to be conservative. Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at, and shout out to the Chiefs, but if you look at the Chiefs play calling style, it's slants. It's all big plays. It's all big plays. If he does not get a big play, because as you can see, that run from the shotgun, that's only going to give him about, at least on my defense, about 2 to 3 yards per play. And if you do that 3 times, it's only 9 yards at most. Like, he gets 3 yards per play. That's only 9 yards. It's not a first down. As you can see, I had him in 4th and 1 a few times. He got it after that, but it was still risky calls because he doesn't get the first down. And if he's going over the top, he didn't really even do that. Like, that's the thing I was kind of questioning, like, why didn't you do more street routes with Tyreek? Because, like, if you get time, you're going to get it. He got it a couple times. But
I'll tell you why he didn't have time.
Yep.
He didn't have time to throw the ball. Those routes take time to develop, and those linemen were coming.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm happy I got my front 7. I relied on my front 4 because I played the linebackers. But with the Fortis Buckner, with the kid I drafted, the D tackle from this year in the draft. I moved Darius Leonard to DN because he's an 86 as a linebacker, but he's an 84 at DN. I need a DN on that side. I got my free agency on the other side. They average 80, 81 at least on that defensive line. If I give my secondary, if I just block or cover my guys for at least 3 seconds, they don't get to him. And as you see, they got to Patty. Like, it was a strip fumble that happened. I didn't recover it, but it was strip fumble that happened. I got to Patty at least 2-3 times with the sack. And then even then, I could tell where he wanted to go based on those routes. Like, he's trying to go either far or right most of the time, not even really left. So that's why I was playing that, and I got like a couple interceptions based off of that.
Yeah, I think what I could take from the way you called the game the next time I see the Chiefs, because I have to include you now into the AFC conversation.
Oh, okay.
It goes through 4 teams.
I officially graduated, right?
You officially graduated. Now I got to talk about you. So I would say you, then me, then the Chiefs, then the Ravens. Obviously, you got to respect the Super Bowl champion.
No, I respect the Ravens.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that it's gonna be between us 4. You know what I'm saying? The AFC to win it. And the thing I took from you is I gotta play more zone against the Chiefs. You know me, I man that shit up. Whatever.
That's what I'm saying. You can't do that. They're too fast.
It's too fast because that play that Tariq got you, bro.
Which one on the far right?
On the far left.
Far left, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like on the far. You're right. Your defense is right, but the offense is left. Bro, you play. I saw you pick the play. You played a cover 3. You played. You usured the linebacker, and then when he threw it, you switched to the safety, but it was too late.
It was too late.
And the crazy part was he was at least 10 to 15 yards behind,
and I didn't even know it. I couldn't tell. Ken, I couldn't even tell how far. I thought I'm like, all right, I have a chance.
Nah.
But what I realized is that I was like, I should have known he was already behind me because there was that one play he did where Tyreek did a post, and I barely tackled him.
I remember because you ran with him.
Yeah.
Because you played a cover 3, but you pretty much manned your middle linebacker to take the underneath, and you let your DB play over top. And yeah, man, like you called a good game. But then that McCole Hardman, that was a fluky because he threw it out of the sack. He came back and got it, and then he burnt everybody.
Right. But that was the big thing about me in this game is like when I use a defensive player, my one-on-one tackling, I still need to work on that because like what I like to do is like I like to have my linebacker create the game tackle because I know sometimes I can't do it one-on-one, especially when most of the teams that we face against are like good teams. You're not gonna really tackle most
star running back, star wide receivers,
all that. Yep. So it's like I can't just do it one-on-one, but I need it. But if I can call it out and see it early and get to it, somebody's gonna
you can slow it up.
So that's what I said all that to say because, again, like there's certain things that I just had to let go of, like with based on my cover. Like I try to do as much as I can with my linebackers, but I gotta trust my secondary to a certain extent. They showed up for the most part. They didn't really let much, slip through. But at the same time, that speed was like those last couple of touchdowns he got was like, dang.
It's eye opening. And see, and where I messed up, and you called me out on it, you're 100% right. Not only did I man, but I press man them.
You pressed, and he was doing that to me, and I was, and it made me, and usually like when
I had a big play for you when he did that shit.
Well, when he did that to me, I was like, I want to do something else, but let me stick to my game plan, cause he's baiting me, and that's a bait. Like, let me see if you can take it over top. And there was a couple times where I was looking at my options, like, all right, who was, and that 1 4th down that I did, I was at the goal line where it was 13-7, and I made it 20-7. That play that I called, literally everybody was open. I just picked Tyreek, T.Y. Hilton because that was the best read at the time, and that's what the mindset I'm trying to go into is like make the best read. Don't go for the big play. Just make the best read. There was even a play where it was like I think it's like an HB, like where your running back does like an out but come in, and then your tight end goes up. There was a possibility I could have gambled and went for the tight end for the touchdown, but I was like, I just need the first down. I don't need a touchdown on this drive. I just need a first down. So that's the kind of thing, and like just keep going with your progressions, and eventually you're just gonna get a touchdown. But yeah, like even that last play I did just to throw points on the board, where I had Pettis just streak up, and he wasn't even paying attention to him because Because I got the league thinking that every time you see someone go across, that's where I'm going. That's not really the case. Like, that's just a guaranteed route. Like, if he's open, I'm going to take it. But if there's something else, I'm going to take that as well. And that's why when I hit him up, he wasn't expecting that deep ball down the field to Pettis for the touchdown. And that kind of just iced the game.
Yeah, you catch people with that play all the time. And they fall, every time they fall for it. Every single time. Every time. And I'm like, man, it's just like, people even paying attention.
Yeah.
To what's going on.
So, got the dub over the Chiefs. It was a big win. I guess I took him out of first overall seed for the AFC with that loss because I think the Ravens.
No, the Ravens has been undefeated and going in like the Chiefs already had a couple losses.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't playing for number 1. He was playing for number 2.
Okay.
And then me and you were in the wild card.
And, yeah, because the Titans, I lost them early. That's the only 2 teams that I'm really that I'm paying attention to is just the Titans and the Ravens in the playoffs. Only because the Titans obviously they're in my division, but the Ravens they're the Super Bowl champs and they're in the same conference as I gotta go.
And they're the number 1 and number 2 rushing teams in the
Dang,
league.
he just act like you ain't even in the playoffs before.
Who?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, like you ain't even in the playoffs.
I gotta respect my division.
I mean, I'm just saying. I heard him say the only 2 teams. You're in the AFC, right?
That's true.
You
I mean, shit. In his eyes, I just came on. He just now noticing me, kid. All right, I feel like the ugly duckling that became a swan. You feel me? He just now seeing that I'm good.
Win, though. He finally had a big win. He had a quality, a very
finally.
quality
I'm a defending champ.
3 and 5 years ago.
Here it comes.
Hey, look, man, I gave you your props.
You did, and I ain't taking it
You
all
want me
the
to take
way.
it back?
You
I'm
take
gonna
it all the
back.
way.
I'm gonna take it all the way back.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's not a diss to you. It's just the fact of I have to focus on my division because I'm not even
number 1.
I came into the season saying like it's my division to lose, and right now I'm losing it. But I do face the Titans again.
And then number 2, the Ravens are Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
So you gotta respect.
I gotta beat the man to beat the man.
Now here's the thing. Y'all already know I know numbers. Every time we advance, I'm looking at numbers. I'm trying to see what makes sense. Why is this, that, and the third? Let me connect some dots. And I connected a dot where I got a fucking toot my own horn just a little bit. I'm the number 5 rushing defense, and I've played both the Titans and the Ravens, and I'm still number 5. I think that says a lot. That fucking says a lot that I played the 2 top rushers and rushing teams, and I'm still a top 5 rushing defense. So, with that being said, it segues me into. I'm not going to talk too much about my games because I had nothing but CPU games, but I had a big injury. Micah Parsons, my rookie right outside linebacker, dislocated hip, out 8 weeks.
So that's the rest of the season and part of the playoffs?
The only way I get him back is if I make the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Pretty much. That's the only way he comes back and plays for me. However, as any good GM or head coach or a Belichickian type motherfucker, like I would like to call myself, I moved Myles Garrett to right outside linebacker. And I moved my second string defensive tackle to my defensive end. So he stayed the same. He was at 81. No, he dropped down a little bit, but he was at 81 defensive tackle. He's at 80 defensive end. Myles Garrett stays at 99. So I didn't lose much. Obviously it hurts because now, going down into the playoff stretch, I'm gonna see the fucking Ravens. I'm gonna see the Titans. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna need my rush defenders. So I think I created a nice little stopgap for the time being. That should be able to get me through this playoff stretch. But that was the biggest thing. 2 more things though. When I played it wasn't the Bengals. I shut their ass up. It was 2 teams that I played. I can't.
Played the Steelers.
It wasn't the Steelers because I played the Pats, and then the game that I played before that. I can't remember.
And so it must be 14.
Yeah. We had 4
games.
weeks.
Yeah. But the first 2 CPU teams, one of them being the Pats, bro, I was struggling. The Packers. Damn Packers, bro. Yo, that defense, I couldn't do nothing against that defense. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and them boys was doing what they did, but I barely squeaked that game out. And then the next game was the Patriots, and I struggled against them until the second half where I started to open it up and blow them out. But after those two games, I started questioning like, whoa, is my team did we peak too early? What's happening? However, against the Steelers, obviously we know their defense and everything Russell Wilson had a hell of a game. He threw for over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I ran as a team, combined 170-some yards, I believe. I think I had three rushing touchdowns. So I was like, whew. Let me calm down. Like, okay, we are ready. We just had a 2-game stretch where it was a little tight, but we're rounding out, man. We're rounding out into shape. I'm not gonna front. I was a little worried about the Micah Parsons injury, but now that I kind of figured that out and moved people around to kind of make sure that I don't lose the advantage I have in my run defense, I'm happy. I'm okay. I can make do with that. But yeah, man. I'm just at this point now. I know I'm gonna be a wild card team, so I'm just looking forward to the playoff.
Yeah, same here. I mean, at this point, that win over the Chiefs, I was like, all right, I'm officially in the playoffs now. Mm-hmm. The seeding will,
it is what it is. Just get in.
So
yeah, just get in.
Because at this point, I would really literally have to run the table to probably even be in the consideration for a top 2 seed. And I still plan on doing that because I got my user games up next.
But not in the AFC because the Chiefs still have a better record than you. Like you would have to finish with a better record than the Chiefs.
Or the same record.
Or the same, but I think he has more CPU games than you.
He does. I think everybody does. Even the Titans, I looked at their record, their schedule. I'm the only user game they got left for the rest of the season. Yeah. But yeah, I face the Seahawks tomorrow. Then after that, I got the Titans, and then I end the season on the 49ers.
So Ken, the NFC, last podcast, you pretty much told everybody you had an outside chance of making the playoffs, and then you had 2 divisional wins back to back. So now you're firmly entrenched in the number 1 seed in your division and potentially going to the playoffs. I know that's not the mindset you had going in. So obviously your season has played out better than you anticipated.
Hey man, the young buck growing up, man. The young buck growing up and he making plays.
Hey,
wait,
wait, hold on, fuck on. I got Cunningham. I was watching that damn game. Ken was back and forth. What team was that you was playing?
It was the Bears.
The Bears.
The division game.
Yeah, division game. They were going back and forth. They scored late. They scored a touchdown late. I was like, damn, Ken gonna have to open up that playbook. Let's see if he do it. And he called his play. I think it's the same shit you beat Adrian with.
Yeah, it was a variation of it, yeah.
And he threw that thing, and I saw it. When you let it go, I was like, the only way you miss it if you get that QB inaccurate, type of shit. Yep. But it was wide open. You read it perfectly. Perfect play call in the scenario, and you executed. You won the game.
Yeah. He and I'll be brief too. It's like you guys were saying. And I think I played the Packers Nets, but those division games, man, especially for my team, the ratings are around average 80, low 80s too. Those games were tougher, but I just couldn't do shit with Nick Foles. It made absolutely no sense that I couldn't get this man off the field. Like, they didn't really put up a lot of points, but
completion after completion, third down after third down.
And that type of consistency is what I like to use. I like that play calling style because it frustrates the defense so much to where you be like, you may even get out of your normal thing. Like, I'm just let me just blitz this motherfucker and just get him out of here. And then all of a sudden, because of that, you get a bomb somewhere else. But I get the frustration of a motherfucker just keep getting third downs.
Well, I think the frustrating thing, Ken, and I'll definitely let you go, but I know for me, I have a base defense, and when it's not working, I'll switch it up and give you variations. But how the hell can you figure out every time what the hell I'm throwing at you? And that's the thing that's frustrating. Because, if you're doing one thing and they're carving it up, you got to switch it up. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't go too far out your own wheelhouse. Like I said in the previous podcast, I don't like playing no cover 6, cover 4. There's just certain exotic coverages. I'm like, no, that doesn't suit my play style. But if I started doing that and then I get beat or whatever, then I get it. Like, I'm outside myself. I don't even know how this shit works. But if I'm still within my wheelhouse and I'm switching it up, even pre-snap, how, Sway? How? So that does frustrate me with some of these quarterbacks. You know who does that a lot?
Who's that?
Burrow.
Really?
With the Bengals, bro, it's hard to get him off. He'll be like 14 out of 17 for $153. He didn't do shit, but he completion after completion after completion.
Yeah, and then this dude, it was because I think I scored. I was up like a field goal or whatever, something like that. And you guys can watch the stream. It's twitch.tv/KBinch. 2 exciting games actually. Mm-hmm. But But yeah, Surtain for whatever reason got caught.
Turned around. Yep. So I think that's a new glitch. So that's a new glitch because Greedy's got like that 3, 4, 5 times now. And I started to get mad at Greedy, but when I saw it happen to you, I'm like, oh, because it looked exactly the same. It's kind of like they're in man coverage, they get turned around on a streak. It's kind of like they play the outside leverage, but then they don't see the ball, and when the ball comes, then they're like turned around, and then the receiver's gone.
Yep. So that was frustrating. They went down, they scored, and I set them up with one pass, and then there are about 3 or 4 plays that I want to take deep. And I didn't run any of them in that game. And that was one, I don't even think that actually wasn't one of them. But I was hoping that, he would actually get a chance to make a move on him. And he actually did. So I was, and I just needed time. And I needed time, and I needed that safety to vacate that side of the field. And once he was gone, I was like, once I threw it, because his deep accuracy isn't that good.
Yeah. So
that's always the risk. So that's why it's hard to kind of go deep a lot.
Stay wide open.
But man, once I saw him cut, and it was halfway through there, I was like, got him. And he caught that bitch with one hand.
Yep.
Went up there, and then I just had to stop them. Because Jimmy Graham, was that the one where Jimmy Graham caught, man, Jimmy Graham.
He almost busted on you.
Bro, no, remember he caught some shit in the end zone. And he did some shit where he started spinning around like this, and he had the ball like this in one hand. He caught it like this and spinned around.
That's that catch weird tackle that they do, like where you'll catch it immediately, but because the defender's on you, it'll spin you around and it'll seem like you almost tossing the defender off, but the offensive guy will.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna hit him and draw the ball loose, but
it'll be some winning animation.
He's stunning on me. He's stunning on me. I was like, all right, that's some fluky shit. But anyway, we won that game, and what made that game so frustrating was because like we're making that push. So if I got a chance to win the division and make the playoffs, I'm going for it. That's just me, the competitor in me. So I was like, all right, we got a shot. So then we played the Vikings, same thing. Kirk Cousins just doing me in. Those look pass after pass after pass. I'm like, this motherfucker is not this good. So that was a dogfight, and again, just smart football that I had to make, and I eventually won that game. But that was rough, and I got outside of myself a little bit on that one. I think I was running slants, and it was a coverage, but I thought there was a hole right there, but I was running and threw it. Yeah, but once I got that out of my system, after that, it was just I couldn't run the ball, but it was just smart football and just methodical drives. I think I had a 15-play, 7-some minute drive.
He took up like the whole quarter.
Yeah, man.
I would have been frustrated as hell.
I love it. But yeah, we won that game, so now we are like in first place. That's it. 6-6. So I went from 0-5, starting the season 0-5 to 6-1 in my last couple of games. And now the only games that are left are 2 games against the Packers, and I think 1 more against the Bears, and that's it. And the Vikings. So I can go 8-8 and still win the division because the Vikings have 2 user games. They already have 7 losses. So they play FIFO, and they play another user. So that's 2 losses. That'll put them at 9 losses. So so I got 6. So I should win. If I go 2-2, I'm in. So but the young guy, he growing up, man. He's starting to be able to make some throws.
So that's your guy?
He's gonna be my guy for another year. Yeah, because the quarterback that I was looking at, I'm not gonna have that high draft pick. But if he can move the ball, then I'm good. So like I said, I can build other pieces.
Where are you at now with him? What's his rating?
74.
74. Okay.
Yeah,
I got Fields up to 82 now.
So you put in some work.
Yeah, I've been.
Thought I was gonna catch it.
I was hoping not.
Not that far. You're not that far.
Nah, I mean you ain't that far, especially when you started at 59.
62.
62.
Yeah.
Nah, but I thought the interceptions would bring him down, but it's actually just like him just getting out there and being
and that's why I would say you gotta make the throws. I don't know if you peep it, but like every play you get some type of XP point, even if it's like an incomplete, even if it's a missed tackle, even if they score, like you still get XP. So that's why I always say like with however you want to mold that rookie, you got to do it even if he can't do it. Even if he can't throw the deep ball, you got to throw the deep ball. Because eventually you get the XP for that, and then once you hit that milestone and you get one upgrade point, you put it to whatever you want. So if he has a weak ass arm, put it on strong arm. You know what I'm saying? So you can mold them to a degree.
Yep.
And I wanted to say something on the progression of your squad too, because some of my other franchises that I do, it always seems like with good rookies, especially at the quarterback position, at some point in time, it's like it clicks. Like where they're missing 5 yards, 10 yards wide, they start to make those throws. Not all the time. Like you're not gonna be a Russell Wilson or a Pat Mahomes or something like that. But you start to make those throws when they matter most. And I think offensively and defensively for you, you know what I'm saying, watching you go 0-5 and be like, oh shit. Because I think at one point in the season, you were averaging like 15, 17 points a game.
It was bad.
It was bad. Your defense was still good because of scheme and all of that, but you couldn't put up the requisite points, and now you're starting to open that shit up. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the league is better when your team is better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited, and I hope you upset at least one NFC person.
Yeah, I'm trying to get somebody. I don't know who yet. I haven't figured out who I want to get, but I've been thinking about that. I still want to kind of take it one game at a time and not to look too far ahead.
I'm gonna tell you who I think you would upset. Cardinals. I don't think he want to see you, bro. I don't think he want to see you.
Actually, I would say Niners.
Well, I already beat him though. So if anything, it'll be a revenge game for him. But yeah, I mean, he was the one that kind of started to get this thing rolling. That was like, okay, I probably can make something happen. Damn, it was something else you said that I wanted to talk about. Galladay, because y'all know I hate Galladay. I hate Kenny Galladay.
No, he's starting.
Yeah.
Because the quarterback, that relationship, yo.
He coming together because they came. I think it was against the Vikings, and it was like. It was 4th down, and I went for it because I was frustrated. I was pissed off. And I came out in like a single back formation, tight end, and they had guts, goal line guts defense. So I audible, the cornerback was playing off, and 1-2 threw it. He caught it, shook off that tackle, and he was off to the races. And but yeah, he's starting to make plays for me. And if he can become, if I can figure out how to use him, and I got Claypool on the other side, and my young guy Vasher that I finally got in the game that made that game winning throw.
You traded for Claypool?
Yeah, that was last season. That was last season. So that was setting it up for this season and the third season. So so he got a star dev trait, and I think he can be a superstar once I put the work in. And then the third receiver, he's a big body, and he got speed, and he can
That's
catch.
the thing I like about, I realize I need big, fast receivers. That's what I really like, as far as just in case when they do beat someone off, even if it's just like they just got the advantage, throwing a lob over to them.
Yeah.
So much, because they got the length and the stretching ability.
That's where I get in trouble, because I have the speed on my team. Andy Isabella, he my deep guy. But sometimes when I know that there's going to be some DBs potentially in the vicinity, he can't go up and go make no play.
Exactly.
Because he's 5'8", $180 soaking wet. So when I be trying to go aggressive catch, he gets eclipsed by the defenders, exactly. Bro. So, yeah, no, I feel y'all. You know who is somebody that you should trade for? I'm going to just put it out there. The only reason why I know him now is because of one of my other franchises that I started. DJ Shark from the Jaguars. This dude is like 6'3", 215 with 95 speed, bro. And I didn't know the Jaguars had so much talent on that damn roster.
I almost went and got him.
Bro, he a cheat code, dog. Like he a cheat code. I
know what you mean, because I did look up that, and he also balled in real life too. But I've already made my trade for Will Fuller. He's on IR right now for this season, but next season he'll be back. So that's why I was like, that's kind of, because I'm also looking at the transition. Like T.Y. Hilton's eventually gonna get older, and his speed is gonna go down. I need a young boy to take over his side.
That's when I was frustrated with Kenny Galladay. I started to move him to get Shark, get DJ, but I'm really starting to pay attention to the cap penalty. There got two guys that I think I might just have to just eat it.
Yeah,
because I just I don't want the penalty, but they just They're not doing anything for me. They got this long ass contract. I don't even know how they even got on the goddamn team. And Chase Daniels is another one. So I might just have to eat that because I have a bunch of second round picks or draft picks coming up. So so I'm gonna have to make moves anyway. So I have a pretty good solid roster and my starters are already in place.
This upcoming draft, I only got 2 positions I'm looking at, and the rest I don't give a fuck because I feel like my next season I gotta compete anyway.
Yeah, I feel in this upcoming draft, there's only one position I'm drafting, and I traded with the Jaguars to get a top 10 pick. The last time I checked, it was at number 8. So hopefully I can get the guy I'm looking for. But I'm going cornerback, bro. Because Greedy has been highly disappointing for me. You know, he just doesn't allow me to run the scheme as aggressive as I want to. He continuously gets beat. Troyaki ain't getting beat. Denzel only gets beat by X-Factor, superstar type wide receiver, so I can live with that. But, dog, Greedy, boy, man, I damn near broke that control a couple times. Because it's just frustrating. So, cornerback with my first pick. I
want one more cornerback.
You got 7.
I'm thinking about it too, just because it's just the play style of the league, bro. Everybody got fast receivers. Everybody want to go downfield, but at the same time, the 2 positions I'm looking at is just defensive and outside linebacker.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think just like in real life, your defensive scheme should start with stopping the run first and foremost. Because if you can't stop the run, then you can't literally stop anything. So even though I agree with y'all, like you got to have speed out there, you got to have the corners, the safeties, and the prerequisite speed on the outside.
If you're talking about just pass rush in general, I agree. Because my priority is pass rush. The reason why I'm able to do things in my defensive schemes is because of that front 4. If you are trying to throw anything past 2 seconds, you're gonna get hit.
So like for me, every defender I target is a run stopper defender. Outside of my safeties and corners. Corners are man-to-man corners. My safeties, I prefer hybrid or run support. But I prefer hybrid because I need them to play the run and the pass. The front 7, that's all run stoppers. Because I can generate pressure with scheme. I can generate pressure with locking down on the outside and causing the timing issues. I don't care that you're a pass rusher or a power. No, I'll put you in the scheme to succeed. Right, just get to the quarterback.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get all power offensive linemen and push them Negroes out the way. But all right, I think that's it. We need to.
We covered everything.
Yeah.
But look, man, obviously, if y'all here, y'all enjoy where sports opinions collide. That's a segue to our next show. Obviously, you're here spending some time with the league. Man, we appreciate it. You know, it continues to grow. Make sure you follow us on Twitch. We all have our individual Twitches. We pretty much are consistent with our league play. The Dead End League is coming soon. It's already been set up. I believe everybody's in there. So now it's just a matter of putting it out there and putting some rules and things in place. So I know we've been a little wishy-washy on setting a date, but I'm going to do it without even consulting my other cohorts on the league. Before we finish this league, going into the next season, I guarantee you the Dead End League will start at some point in time. So that gives you a little bit more to bite on. Again, thank you for listening. Stay with us because we're going to come right back to Dead End Sports. Again, the place where sports opinions collide. I was your host for the league, FIFA 24/7. And for my co-hosts, I'm speaking for them. Peace. We love you.